Clark County Today is presented by Connell Real Estate. Hire an agent, get a team. Learn more by visiting connellrealestate.com.
Hey everyone, it's Chris Brown. A very happy Friday to you. Well, Clark County has officially applied to be moved to Phase 2 of the governor's 4-phased reopening plan. The vote came from the Board of Health today in an emergency meeting followed by a full county council vote. Dr. Alan Melnick, the county's public health officer, said he is reasonably confident the county will get an answer back as soon as next Tuesday following the Memorial Day holiday. Today, there were 8 new confirmed cases of COVID-19 in Clark County, bringing our total to 427, with still 25 fatalities. 7 people are currently hospitalized with confirmed cases, and the county is urging anyone with symptoms to call your healthcare provider in order to get tested. Well, in case you missed it, check out our in-depth story from Thursday breaking down what Clark County Public Health had to say about their contact tracing and case investigation program, as well as how they plan to handle requests for people to quarantine if they're exposed to a known case. The TLDR is that the National Guard is not being used here. No one will be forced to isolate, and families will not be separated no matter what. Hey, we love good news stories, and we were fortunate to be invited to a food box distribution event held this morning in the parking lot of Vancouver Mall. Volunteers with the Salvation Army and the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints gathered to provide area residents with much-needed nutritional items, as well as a $20 Safeway or Albertsons gift card. Cars lined up in advance of the event to receive the much-needed assistance. The groups put together over 5,000 food boxes that were distributed all over Washington state this week. And the last 2 events were held today, the one here in Vancouver as well as another in Centralia. Volunteers at the event wore bright red T-shirts with the theme, "Hope is Greater Than Fear," printed on the back. Good work, guys. Well, Vancouver police this week said they are tracking a major increase in commercial burglaries and thefts from construction sites. Property crimes are also up, including car prowls at apartment complexes and near hiking trails. That data shows how criminals are adjusting to focus on crimes of opportunity afforded by people staying home more often. Domestic violence is also a concern, though the numbers there aren't up sharply over the average. You can see all the details and how police are responding in our story at clarkcountytoday.com. The future of the Vancouver Navigation Center was also a topic of discussion at this week's City Council meeting. The day shelter for area homeless has been closed since March due to the COVID-19 pandemic, with people only being allowed inside to pick up their mail. The city's been working to secure a new operator for the site and may work out a deal with Catholic Community Services of Western Washington. But the decision reached this week by council was to press pause on reopening the shelter until conversations can be had with the county and a new homeless resource manager is hired. That process was temporarily halted by the hiring freeze amid the coronavirus pandemic. Well, the filing deadline for the 2020 election was this week. We broke down the candidates squaring off ahead of the primary election in August, and that'll include a rematch in the 3rd Congressional District, where incumbent Jamie Herrera Butler will once again go up against Democrat Carolyn Long. There'll be another rematch in the House, where Vicki KRAFT will face off again against Tanisha HARRIS, whom KRAFT defeated by just 859 votes in 2018. Clark County Councilor John Blum is running for re-election as an independent this year rather than Republican. Karen Bowerman, the wife of Clark County GOP Chair Earl Bowerman, has jumped in as the Republican in that race. You can check out the full list of candidates and races at clarkcountytoday.com. Well, by now you've probably heard about them. They're the largest species of wasp on planet Earth, and now they're popping up in the Pacific Northwest. The arrival of the Asian giant hornet, dubbed by some the murder hornet in the U.S., has created a massive frenzy of posts and articles on social media. The hornet is native to many parts of Asia, but has never been found in North America until recently. We spoke with Clark County beekeeper Dave Arnett about the situation, and in his opinion, the best thing to do is not panic. The Washington State Department of Agriculture is addressing the problem. State entomologist Chris Looney says he and his team are creating protocols for dealing with and eradicating any more hornets in Washington. So what should you do if you spot one? We'll find that out by reading our full story at clarkcountytoday.com. That's what they call a tease. Okay, it's pretty much the weekend, and it's Memorial Day weekend too. So if you aren't barbecuing but you want barbecue, speak of a tease, Paul Valencia has an idea for you.
Hey, earlier this week, we brought you a story about Goldie's Texas-style barbecue. Well, now it's Friday, and you know Friday means barbecue. You should call tonight or Saturday. That's their busy night. You may have to wait. But crowds have been coming to Goldie's Barbecue for takeout ever since the pandemic.
This is Charles Bibbins coming at you live and in living color from Goldie's Barbecue here in Vancouver, Washington. I just want to thank all my customers that's been coming here since the COVID-19 pandemic has started, and we just want to thank y'all for coming in, and we just pray that God will bless you as He blessing us for you coming here. So thank you. Here we got pork spare ribs, baby back ribs, chicken breasts. We got pulled pork, beef brisket, beef ribs, and hot and mild link. We got mac and cheese, greens, collard greens, coleslaw, beans.
All right, thank you for that, Paul. Well, Monday marked the 40th anniversary of the eruption of Mount St. Helens, and we brought you some stories about the volcano as well as historic photos of the eruption on our Facebook page. You can also read the accounts of Clark County Today Administrator Heidi Wetzler and photographer Mike Schultz. Wetzler was 8 at the time. She recalls riding her bike to an elementary school in Battleground to take photos of the eruption, which she shared with us. Schultz was on a scout camping trip when he turned on the radio and heard what was happening. An aspiring photographer at the time, Mike was able to venture into the red zone at the age of 16 to take photos. Be sure to check out their stories and share your own memories as well. Well, high school sports remains on hiatus due to the COVID-19 pandemic, but that doesn't mean there hasn't been any sports news. Let's head back out to Paul Valencia for the recap.
Happy Friday, everybody. Hey, I hope you got a chance to read our story on Sarah Jackson Panther. If not, it's still there on ClarkCountyToday.com. Sarah Jackson, in 2003, won 2 state hurdles titles for Hudson's Bay. She's endured a lot after her college career. Now she is a health coach, a life coach, an advocate for those with chronic illness. This week, we also talked to Prairie Girls basketball coach Hayla Corral. Actually, that would be former Prairie Girls basketball coach Hayla Corral. She's been putting her professional career on hold for years now as she has coached the Prairie Youth Program and then Prairie Girls basketball varsity. Well, she got a promotion at work. She'll be moving to Idaho, so she had to resign as the head coach of the prestigious basketball program. And we put together a little salute for Union basketball player Tanner Toulson. Late last week, he chose his college. He'll be going to Brigham Young University after his 2-year mission for his church. Congratulations, Tanner.
All right, thank you so much for that, Paul. Hey, it's Memorial Day weekend, so we figured we'd give you a quick rundown of some of the events happening in our area. Willamette National Cemetery, as usual, in Portland, will be open for visitation from sunrise to sunset on Memorial Weekend. But due to current CDC guidelines, public events typically associated with the day, such as ceremonies and group placement of flags at gravesites, will not take place. Families and friends can continue the tradition of placing flowers and small American flags at their veterans' gravesite, but cemetery officials urge the public to consider visiting Friday, Saturday, or Sunday to avoid possible crowds on Memorial Day. On Monday, a special virtual Memorial Day observance will be offered by the Community Military Appreciation Committee, the City of Vancouver, and the National Park Service. This year, Vancouver's Memorial Day observance, which has brought thousands to the National Parks Parade Ground annually, will be quite different than in years past. CVTV will broadcast in a special program that's going to be prepared in advance and airing Monday at 3 p.m. and 9 p.m. If you have cable, you can find that on channels 23 or 323 or online at cvtv.org. And Battleground's annual Veterans Memorial Ceremony won't be held this year for obvious reasons, but city officials and residents are invited to pause to remember the 31 local men who lost their lives in service to their country and whose names are engraved on the wall of the Battleground Veterans Memorial. There will also be a virtual event Monday at 11 a.m. You can find details about that on the city's website. And that is your Friday edition of our video news update. Be sure to follow us on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram to stay informed and be part of the conversation. You can also reach us with story ideas and feedback via email. news@clarkcountytoday.com is the address. For all of us, I'm Chris Brown. Have a safe and happy weekend, and a huge thank you to our veterans from all of us at Clark County Today. We'll talk to you next week.